So there was an amendment to the patent law in 2011, and this sort of appeals court set up in the U.S. Patent Office. But here, there was a case I was going to use originally to show how the internet's so dynamic and helps new business. There's a guy, Josh Malone is his name, father of 8 from Plano, Texas. He invents something that can fill 100 water balloons in 60 seconds. He invents it. He files for patent, gets the patent, launches a Kickstarter campaign, raises $1 million online, and he's off and running. But then somebody, not a Chinese company, another American company just builds the same thing. They reverse engineer it, build it. He goes to the patent office. This appellate body in the patent said, nah, your original patent was too vague. This is the kind of thing that stifles innovation.
It does. Yep.
It doesn't create the incentive.
It does.
So does Congress have to tighten these procedures?
I think we're going to have to, but I think it goes back to, it does have to tighten up procedures in the sense of saying, here is the specific, purpose, here's how we tighten them up and say, this is what we mean by this, and there are real consequences to, as you just said, just coming and taking it over. It has always been a tension, whether you go from and this was something I think, let's take it to the next logical step, and that's value. What is the value of this economy that we're in? What is this value of this sort of theoretical, as we talk about intellectual property, we talk about this out there. And I had a group of attorneys that I was talking to one time out on the West Coast, and they were talking about this issue, that this is becoming the big issue for them is when they discuss with venture capitalists and others, what is the value of an algorithm? What is the value of this different thing? And they said, after they thought about it for a long time, they finally had to come back and say, this is in essence not new, but what all attorneys do is they say there's a correlation, there's something that we can look at. And they go back almost 125 years to when the titans of, quote, traditional industry were going. You had steel, you had, the U.S. Steel, you had the trains, and really at that time it was the Rockefellers, the Morgans, and others who determined what that value was. Where we're struggling right now is to define that value and say if that value comes from this individual piece, his patent, or does it come from the whole? I think that's the struggle for Congress, because then you have to take into another piece that we really haven't talked about, and that is the schools. That is where some of the best work is being done now. How do they play into this market and protecting their portfolio and getting it to the market, but still having the protections of both? I think that's the struggle for Congress. And it's hard because at another point in time, you also have others who say, well, this is mine, I want to be able to sue for this, or you're doing. So this is, for Congress to simply say, here is X, it's going to be very difficult.